All right, this is the RAG Blueprint Weekly Sync, now just the RAG Sync really, for the week of April 16th, 2024. Looks like I have the first item on the agenda. Blueprint is almost merged. I hit merge on it yesterday morning and then got like, I don't know, what seems like more than dozens of linting errors about using different URL schemes that aren't allowed anymore, and a bunch of like stuff regarding like drop downs and things I didn't even touch. So I think they made some handbook changes maybe in the interim between when we opened the PR or the MR, I mean, and when it's getting merged. So I'm
Who
going to go to
knows?
the MR Buddies channel, I think, and see if there's any way someone can give me like some regular expressions to make bulk changes to some of this stuff, because it's definitely things we didn't change in the MR, but it's blocking the merge right now. But that's the only thing that is blocking it, is the code quality checks, all the linting rules. So hopefully can get that merged in the next day or two. Yeah, Susie, that's a good question. What is the Slack channel for RAG? I think we don't have one officially for RAG. There is a, is
There is
it
the
S
vector
or G?
embedding.
Vector embeddings is what I was going to say. Yeah, Peony, there's the vector embeddings channel, which probably is the best one right now. It's not super active because initially it was just for the vector store stuff, but I think at this point we can, add this purpose to it because it's the most sensible thing, and we don't have to create another channel.
Yeah.
Um, I posted in some embeddings work that Maddie had added to the milestone as well, just so people want to see kind of where we're at in terms of what we're working on. I think Maddie, it's correct to characterize it as like this is the work to get us to staging semantic search, right? That's kind of the main goal of some of this stuff.
Not staging production,
Mm,
and it would be limited to the GitLab groups
okay,
because we can send our data to an LLM, but not everyone else's.
right,
Yeah, so
awesome.
production.
Okay, that's great.
I actually have a question. I don't know if you know, Susie, but Mon mentioned in the comment if we wanna integrate into the blueprint some RAG eval stuff, right?
Yeah, so I wasn't tracking on that recently, but I do know that's something we were trying to figure out, the like best way to like get it systematically evaluated. So I'll go check. Is that the comment that she made on the blueprint?
Yeah, she asked if we wanted to, if we think it's like appropriate, and I said like yes, like I
Yeah.
think it would be great if it would be like with embedded in the blueprint, that we would have like also the best practices and like what we want to do to evaluate the actual RAG application. Yeah, definitely shouldn't block the merge, right? Like, but something
You
we
always
should
add it. Yeah.
add. Yeah,
Yeah, that blueprint is definitely going to get more stuff added to it in the future. We still have a lot of stuff that needs to go in it. It's just not, it's kind of pending some decisions and stuff still, so we'll get there eventually. But for now, I think, yeah, we can definitely add the RAG evaluation stuff whenever Mon and you, Susie, are ready, or we can all collaborate on it together. But I think probably one of you two should drive it. It seems like, I'm not sure that's a global search thing to drive, but happy to help, obviously, wherever we can.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Next item is just kind of an update on the vector store discussion. So I have had a number of calls with different vector store providers over the last few weeks. The most salient one for this discussion is the call I had with Elastic at the end of last week, and with our distribution team. Dylan and Dimitro from distribution were able to join. And basically the issues with shipping additional infrastructure are, there are a handful of them that aren't exclusive to Elasticsearch. But we support a number of OSs with Omnibus, or our Linux packages, the other word for it, which Elastic doesn't support all of them. The only one it doesn't support is Raspberry Pi, and I've gotten this, like Dylan and Josh both were like, we can talk about maybe not supporting Raspberry Pi anymore, or at least just saying that it's not supported for this particular use case of AI vectors. I don't know how you would run ML and AI features on Raspberry Pi, but
it's great.
so I think we're going to talk about how we can not do that. The other issue is the bundle size, not just for Elastic, though. It sounds like from talking to Dimitro and Dimitri and Maddie, you may know about this too, but I guess our current build process blows up pretty frequently, or relatively frequently, because of the packet size already, because we build GitLab entirely every time we do a build, as opposed to building the different components. I'm not a CI/CD expert, so I'm not sure exactly how all that might work. But basically, it sounds like adding anything significant. What Elasticsearch, it turns out, is only like 500 meg, which is better than we thought. I think I was thinking it was closer to a gigabyte. But even the other newer vector stores are all around 200 megabytes, it sounds like, and that is enough to potentially just make it so the build just doesn't work anymore unless they break it up into separate components, which Demetra was like, this could be a good thing because it'll drive and help prioritize some of that work that right now is not top priority on the roadmap, but it's something we have to consider, that we can't make it so that we just can't build GitLab, obviously. So we have to think about how we might want to, like, what the impacts of doing this will be for any of the vector stores, it sounds like. Elastic currently doesn't meet the OpenShift and Kubernetes requirements, but they're not that far off. So I think we might be able to push them to do that. The other vector stores don't really have official support other than to say like they support Kubernetes, and some of them don't even have OpenShift at least guaranteed on their support list. So I need to ask them. I'm meeting with both of them, like with Weaviate and Milvus again this week. So I'll find out for sure what their OpenShift support looks like. But basically everyone who's not Elasticsearch is kind of like, you should run this on Kubernetes, and that just doesn't work for a lot of our customers. 90% of self-managed customers, I found out from Dylan, are on Omnibus, which is not Kubernetes based. So we need to be able to have all the operating systems supported. So anyway, that's that. And then trying to work with Josh on how we might be able to leverage this sort of AI moment in time to require, customers to do some additional lift that we may not necessarily want them to have done before. So whether that's Elasticsearch or another vector store, just kind of saying like, hey, if you want AI features, you got to do this thing. There's just no way around it. We're not going to be able to do what we've done in the past if you want to be able to support these features. So we're going to figure out if we can come up with like a diplomatic sounding approach that we can propose to the rest of the company and leadership to see what they think. So if anybody has ideas on that, happy to collaborate. I think that hopefully will impact the AI teams more broadly, and that's a thing that we probably could use other folks' input on, not just global searches. I don't know exactly what you all may have planned in those different areas, but it might be good to have like a holistic proposal for AI infrastructure at GitLab or something like that. I don't know, Peony or Susie, if you have any thoughts on that. I mean, we don't have to get into it deeply now. It's kind of out of the scope of this meeting, but just kind of a heads up, I guess, that's something I'm starting to think about.
Cool. No, actually, I think it's relevant. So, one, I think it's good if we can get customers to do this for many reasons. It's also can solve some of the issues we have like in general around like versions, backporting stuff, as you may imagine. Because of just for context that you already understood from what I said, I guess. We do have the problem that we have like rapid experimentation around like improving quality, for example, of prompts or whatever. The thing is that it doesn't necessarily affect customers and older versions, right? So we currently have this like potential problem, I don't know, really problem with chat that we kind of like with the help of Susie, increasingly improved the chat quality over the last 2 milestones, right? But now it means that like the GA chat is the 16.11 chat. But people who use chat on 16.9, right? They see the announcement of like chat is now GA and they expect, okay, chat is now GA, right? But it's actually the beta product, not even not even the best version of the paid product. So that's like a thing. So definitely any motion that we would have around like setting a new standard of what it means to be like an AI customer in terms of like what you are required to do is great. The second thing I'm thinking is that we are doing some stuff around like the AI gateway. It's going to be like a long journey, or not that long, but longish journey to at least decouple prompts and decouple other components from the versions themselves. Maybe there is something for us to think together, like both teams, about things that are related to, I know, Ben, some of the stuff you mentioned, maybe that we can decouple from the version itself, or from infrastructure that the customers may have to have, because we do have, like, let's call it the precedent of the principle of cloud connected features, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this logic or some of the methods can be extended also here, in terms of, like, you have a self-managed instant for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there is elements of it which are not, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's also an argument that can make sense to people, to the same extent of, like, yeah, you're gonna have to upgrade your infra, as opposing to you don't have to do anything, you just need to accept this, that, like, some part of the way the machine works is not under your control at all, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that is kind of what we're trying to figure out how we can message that. And if it's a thing that, you know, ultimately, I suppose Sid will be able to feel like he can sign off on, that we're comfortable saying that there are kind of some additional requirements that may be out of the spirit of what GitLab has done in the past, at least for now. You know, maybe there's a possibility in the future we can figure out a way to do this stuff, like Elastic has serverless architecture coming out. Like maybe that's a big sea change in terms of what Elasticsearch or the other, you know, the other vector stores may do the same thing. What that looks like for self-managed, it's, you know, object storage and CPU usage at that point. It's not going to be managing a multi-node cluster and stuff. So, you know, could simplify that stuff, and then maybe we can go back to shipping with Omnibus or something. But I think yeah. Anyway, we should definitely talk about it more. I think it makes sense. Okay, next one, it looks like Mikolai opened a blueprint for X-ray RAG. I had seen that come through somewhere, so that's interesting. That's cool though. Did you post this, Maddie, or was it Dimitri?
Yes, yeah, I posted this. It's based on Elasticsearch implementation, which is good. And we just have to add some details. Yeah.
Okay, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, that makes me smile that it's based on like, yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
we're recording, so I want to expand.
Okay, do we have anything else? Otherwise, Peony has some non-public updates to share. We'll stop the recording for now, unless anybody has anything else they wanted to discuss. Okay. All right. Thanks everybody who's watching for joining, and we'll see you next time.